morning, my fabulous 153. Welcome to another episode of Lindsay's Library. Today I'm going to be reading Chapter 4 of Judy Moody. Around the World in 8.5 days. So, let's just get started. Chapter 4. Nellie Bly says goodbye. Class, said Mr. Todd, blinking the lights. Morning recess is over. Everybody find your seat. We have a special visitor today, and she has some interesting information to share with us. Is it the Crown Lady? Someone asked. Is that the visitor? Asked Bradley, pointing to Amy Namie. She's just a kid from Miss Valentine's class. And there's a picture of them in the classroom. Amy is in front of the room, and I guess that's the student that's saying that. Mr. Todd in front of the chalkboard, and then we have another student. Class, I'd like you to meet Amy Namie, said Mr. Todd. Some kids giggled when he said her name. Judy practically jumped out of her seat. I already know her, said Judy. And we have 3 connections. 1, her name rhymes, just like Judy Moody. 2, she likes Nellie Bly, daredevil reporter, the way I like Elizabeth Blackwell, first woman doctor. 3, she collects ABC gum. Thank you, Judy. I was about to say that some of you may know Amy from the other 3rd grade class 3V, Miss Valentine's room. She lives on my street, Allison S. told Mr. Todd. I noticed your colorful glasses before, said Jessica Finch. Were you on our field trip to the emergency room? Asked Samantha. Why are you always wearing that blue checkered shirt? Asked Rocky. Why do you have that plastic bread bag full of stuff? Asked Frank. Let's give Amy a chance, said Mr. Todd. She's here to tell us about Nellie Bly, the daredevil reporter who went all the way around the world in 72 days. Did anybody ever see the movie Around the World in 80 Days? Amy asked. Only a few hands went up. Nellie Bly was a woman reporter, Amy continued. She wrote stuff for newspapers. She read this book about Mr. Fogg. He was a made-up person who went around the world in 80 days. Nellie thought it would be cool for a real person to try to beat his record. So her newspaper sent her around the world. Another reporter found out and tried to beat her, but Nellie won the race. She went around the world in 72 days, 6 hours, 11 minutes, and 14 seconds. Sorry. Amy Namie looked over at Mr. Todd. You're doing great, said Mr. Todd. Someday I want to be a reporter and travel around the world like Nellie Bly, said Amy. Why don't you tell us how Nellie Bly got ready for her trip, said Mr. Todd. She only had 3 days to get ready to go around the entire world, and she could only take 1 small bag, the size of a loaf of bread. Amy held up her loaf of bread bag. Just think, class, said Mr. Todd. What if you had to go all the way around the world, and you could only take what fits in this bag? What are some of the things you would take? Jessica? A camera. Judy? A grouchy pencil. Bradley? Clean underwear. Everybody cracked up. And there's a picture of all the things. There's some money, there's the grouchy pencil, underwear, and there's some kind of a pig and a camera, a pillow and a hamburger. Jessica again. My stuffed pig named Snuffles. Frank, a hamburger, and my pillow. Your pillow's bigger than a loaf of bread, said Bradley. Rocky, I'd fill that whole bag with money. Amy, would you like to show us what's in your bag? These are some things Nellie Bly had in her bag. Soap, needle and thread, pajamas, slippers. No pillow? Asked Frank. Underwear? Said Amy. Told ya, said Bradley. Ink and pens and pencils. I called it, said Judy. 3 hats, a cup, a raincoat. No way, everybody exclaimed. Amy unfolded a tiny pouch, and it turned into a raincoat. Whoa! Everybody oohed and awed. And her lucky thumb ring. Holy macaroni, thought Judy. Lucky thumb ring? A lucky thumb ring was almost as good as a mood ring. What about money? Asked Rocky. She tied it in a little bag around her neck. What about clothes and stuff? Asked Jessica Finch. She only wore one dress. It was blue plaid, like this skirt. Amy Namie pointed to the skirt she was wearing. What's the stick for? Somebody asked. Why'd she take a stick? When she got to a country called Yemen, she had to brush her teeth with a stick. I can't believe there's a country called Yaman, said Frank. And she saw camels and people riding elephants. And when she was halfway around the world, she got a pet monkey named McGinty. Amy, why don't you show us Nellie Bly's Around the World route on your globe? Said Mr. Todd. Okay, I made a globe this morning. It's still kind of wet. She held up a big gloppy papier-mâché ball. Here's where she started, in Hoboken. She started in Hoboland? Hoboken is in New Jersey, said Amy. And she went to England, France, Italy, then Egypt, in Africa. The route was marked in black marker. Amy traced it with her finger. Can somebody help me hold this? Asked Amy. I will, said Frank. Me too, said Rocky. Judy could not believe her ears. 10 minutes ago, Rocky and Frank were calling Amy a robber, a big fat friend stealer. And there's a little picture of the earth right there. Now they were helping her. Frank held the papier-mâché globe. Where's that Yeah Man place? He asked. I see it, said Rocky. He went over to the bulletin board and pulled out a thumbtack. It's right down here on the Red Sea. As he said it, he stuck the pen into the globe to mark the spot. Pow! A loud pop made everybody jump. Frank leaped backward. It was the balloon inside the papier-mâché globe. All the air went out of the globe with a whoosh, and it collapsed in on itself. Frank looked at Rocky. Rocky looked at Frank. Globe explode, Rocky said, cracking up. Amy Namie stood in front of the whole entire Class 3T, holding a mushy-gushy mess of wet newspaper, a slobby, blobby, ooey gooey globe of gloop. Nellie Bly says goodbye, said Amy, and she rushed out of the room, and there she is holding the globe that just popped. That ends Chapter 4 of Judy Moody, Around the World in 8.5 days. I hope you've liked this episode of Lindsay's Library. If you did, please be sure to like and subscribe. And also, if you want, you can check out my links down in the description below. The first of which is for my affiliate with So Sick Clothing. There's a promo code through them that will get you 15% off site-wide. That promo code is... And I forgot the sign for 15 already, so I have to relearn that. But anyway, other thing, you can also check out all my other links down there. The first of which is for the Lovecraft website, which has a lot of really cool pottery pieces that are for sale. And then there's my website, my spring store, my music, my podcast, El Grace After Hours. New episodes of that every Tuesday, and that's available on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, pretty much any podcast platform you can think of. And last but not least is my social media. Thank you for watching, and above all else, stay fabulous. Bye!